Hi, everyone. My name is Evelyn Bright, and we are discussing a training video in regards to nonprofit organizations and local governments. So I'm going to pull over the slideshow just to kind of have us go through this training video for purposes. Just give me 1 second. All right, let's get these going. Okay, so nonprofits and local government. Um, we're going to discuss these two and how they kind of intertwine with each other. And we're just kind of going to go over a video in regards to training, just to kind of give some more clarity in regards to nonprofits and how they kind of benefit local government, as well as how the local government can kind of help benefit a nonprofit agency as well. So we're going to do an introduction. We're going to talk about what nonprofits are. And then we're going to look at the type of partnerships that nonprofits and local governments have. And then we're going to look at the benefits with working with local governments and with nonprofit organizations as well. And then we're going to wrap it up with our conclusion and just see if there's any other questions that might need to be answered at the end of it. So nonprofits. Nonprofits are an organization, is a group uh, for purposes other than generating profit and in which no part of the organization's income is distributed to the members, directors, or officers. So whatever gets put in just gets distributed back into what that organization is trying to support or their mission that they're trying to support as well. So there's a nonprofit called Healthcare in Action. All their funding is either grant-based, fundraising, or county grants as well. And with that, what happens is that it gets generated back into their funding to be able to help support the services that they are trying to provide to anybody that's in need in regards to their healthcare in action group. Um, that's just one of the nonprofits that I know that I personally work with in my field of work. And a few others could be charities, churches and religious purposes, private nonprofit organizations, political nonprofit organizations, educational nonprofit organizations, and obviously healthcare. Um, how these are funded is grants, foundation grants, individual donations, membership fees, charitable donations, fundraising, alumni donations, individual donors, and events. And a lot of these are donations, as I've said. So, with that being said, with the grants, with the donations, grants are something that we have to write in order to apply for. So we get this grant for healthcare or for mental health services. I just had to write a grant for mental health services, so I'm going to use that as an example. But you have to either do some type of training outline in regards to why you need this grant and what is it going to benefit your department with, how is it going to change the perspective of mental health of law enforcement, what are you going to utilize that with? How is that going to look? And then giving that back to whoever is giving the grant. So then they have the ability to choose between the different agencies that are trying to get this grant as well. Um, and then, uh, so with that being said, um, so for the nonprofits, they their specific task or goal per se would be fulfilling their mission and serving their community. They have a commitment to bettering society in a whole, and each organization differs in size, focus, and type of organization that it is. So, like I said earlier, the type of organization, nonprofit organization, is just the bigger picture. But if you look at the charities, churches, religious, private, political, educational, healthcare, and so much more, those are the different types of organizations that kind of are that are encompassed in that type of area. So let's get going to the next one. So the next slide is going to be the partnerships between local governments and nonprofit organizations. So local governments and nonprofit organization, their kind of partnership is for long-term sustainability, risk mitigation, and services. Those are the focal points of that. Delivering services, they're cutting costs, providing other opportunities that maybe this department doesn't have, but this nonprofit has, or this nonprofit doesn't have, but this government agency has, or local government entity has. Um, they play a crucial role in advocating for um, for policy changes, and governments have the power to enact and enforce those changes. So, with those partnerships, a lot of nonprofit organizations can come forward and say, hey, there needs to be policy changes, or hey, there needs to be some type of law change. So then it brings it to a kind of local government group that can advocate for that change and help partner with that nonprofit to be able to bring more awareness and bring more talk about the issues that they're going through or the issues that they're seeing out in the world, like homelessness. Homelessness is a huge one. A lot of nonprofits are helping the homeless, but or the unhoused, as we say. But with that being said, uh, there has been a lot of talk in regards to policy changes and in regards to law changes to be able to make it to where the unhoused aren't continuously staying unhoused. If they have a tent, they're able to stay in their tent. So those are just the little things that kind of little examples that maybe can kind of pop up. Just a few partnerships that I know of that I've kind of dealt with. Time for Change Foundation, Hope the Mission is a homeless outreach group. Healthcare and Action Group, SCAN, has been dealing with community paramedicine in the field, and they go to people that are specifically unhoused and homeless, and they give them medical services and are able to write them prescriptions. So then they're able to go and get the services that they need and get the prescriptions that they need in a timely manner, and they're not having to wait until the next appointment, that they're able to get on a bus or get somewhere, get money to get somewhere to go to a hospital and then go from there. um, Catholic Charities, Habitat for Humanity, Community Action Partnership. I just started a partnership with CAPS, so Community Action Partnership. So they're helping us as a mental health team to fund a snack bag for individuals that are unhoused that we come in contact with. So, or any families that might need some extra support services in regards to their children needing food or they're needing food in their household. It's kind of giving them the ability to be able to have a service provided to them through another entity. So I thought that was really interesting, and I figured it would kind of tie into this training video as well. Another one would be the Humane Society. All of us have used probably the Humane Society for services in regards to neutering, spaying our animals, as well as trying to be in regards to shelters as well. Shelters, the Humane Society uses the shelters, and the shelters use the Humane Society to be able to get these services, and to be able to render services. They partner with each other to be able to get people to go to the Humane Society, get their animals spayed and neutered before they bring them home. So then it's easier to maintain an animal without having to deal with all the extra care of having to have puppies or kittens or whatever the case may be. Volunteers of America, Option House for Victim Services, and then Ronald McDonald House as well. Um, so what their partnerships kind of create is professional development, membership benefits, financial and support services, community engagement. A lot of things that they also do is they give tools, job services, feedback and evaluations in regards to the services provided. Excuse me. Healthcare support, personal growth and well-being as well. And excuse me. Um, they use communication and information to be able to link the partnerships with the local government, uh, training situations that they might need to go to, training lessons for both nonprofit and for the local government as well. So they kind of like tie in hand, and they kind of create training lessons as well as Coffee with a Cop is one, to where the neighborhood watch committee kind of comes in and helps with a local government agency. And what they do is they sit down and they discuss issues that they're dealing with in each of their wards or each of their districts. And they kind of come to a conclusion of how to kind of navigate that and how to mitigate having to deal with that over and over again within the community. So that's just one other example. So let's go on to the next slide. All right. So the benefits between local government and um, nonprofit organizations. So a lot of the benefits would be tax benefits. A lot of people always say that they're tax exempt or they're able to get a 501(c)(3), which means that any funding that they're able to provide, it's completely taxed. It's like a tax write-off in a sense. So local governments do that a lot. Um, there's a lot of advocacy and representation, grants and funding, learning new skills, collaboration. There's a lot of resume building, networking, engagement and leadership. It drives our economy, our growth. It boosts it up a lot, and it strengthens the community as a whole. Um, so what it also does is it helps provide the quicker services for people that are in need in these nonprofit organizations, and it provides the partnered resources that a local government might have, but the nonprofit might not have, and vice versa. It also gives free services to people that are in need of that service, um, and or of low cost, because sometimes it's very difficult to afford a lot of the extra services that you might need if you don't have a job or you don't have a stable job, or you're in house as well. So another thing that they do is a lot of job fairs. Um, some of the extra benefits also would probably be like healthcare. Um, they sell services. So a lot of people would ask, oh, what do you mean by sell services? So a nonprofit that would sell services would be a like, so you have Planned Parenthood, but you also have Pregnancy Resource Center as well that would help with the services, and they pay for your ultrasounds. They pay for and each time that you go in, you get points to kind of help build towards their little store that they have in the back. And you use these points to get all the donations that they've received, and you get those, and you're able to utilize those as a at a lower cost than you would have getting a brand new one. And these are like new, close to new, barely used services or barely used items that people are getting at super low and at no cost to them. So, and there's multiple resources out there. Within our county, I couldn't even tell you how many resources are out there. Uh, so, just a few local governments would probably be Parks and Rec, Police and Fire, Healthcare Services, Public Works, Housing Authority, HUD, municipal courts, transportation services, um, emergency services as well. So like AMR, um, and what holds these people accountable with the partnerships and the benefits of it? Well, there's policies that are put into place. There's MOUs, which is a guideline of where anybody can kind of look it up and see, oh, well, an officer is paid this much money, and this are their benefits, and this is everything that they get in their package, and so on and so forth, just like they can with the chief of police. So it is a public record for people to look at, and it's the ability to see the contract of between a partnership as well. Uh, Contracts are very specific, and it makes it a lot easier to nip anything that might be out of context when you're trying to create these partnerships. It's able to nip anything out that kind of does not meet the requirements or isn't part of the partnership itself. So contracts are huge when it comes to these types of services that are partnered when it comes to local government and nonprofit organizations. You have informal collaborations, formal agreements, you have tax exemptions, like I said earlier. And a lot of the partnerships that I said before was like Healthcare in Action, Hope the Mission, Catholic Charities, Habitat for Humanity, Community Action Partnership, Humane Society, you name it. There are a bunch. There are a bunch of nonprofit organizations just in my county alone, and imagine all over the counties that you can think of. And um and so now we're going to go to our last slide, which I think it's the conclusion, which you guys made it through my boring training, but that is it. So let's just touch base on exactly everything that we kind of went over. We went over the key points of kind of what a nonprofit is. It's an organization that doesn't get any profit to its members, owners, officers, who you name it. It's put back into the organization itself and to help provide these services to people. We also talked about the different kind of nonprofits that are in the county, well, specifically my county, that I know of, and the partnerships that they kind of run with when it comes to local government agencies, as well as fire, AMR, police, Parks and Rec. Um, you have the hospitals, uh, you have healthcare services. So you have all these different things. Excuse me for my yawn. But you have all these different services that are piling onto each other. So to be able to have the ability to have partnerships, to collaborate, and to be able to um, not only make your community better, but strive for your community to be able to communicate with you as a government agency and say, hey, this nonprofit really has a great goal in mind, but they kind of need your backing to be able to advocate and to be able to say, hey, this partnership would be a great idea to help facilitate a lot of the services that we are needing in our community right now, right here and right now. And unfortunately, there's not enough of that out there. And so being able to bring to light the partnership between nonprofits as well as local government agencies, it's nice to see that there is a blend and that there is a lot of services that are being provided and just a lot of people don't know about them. And I challenge a lot of people to go out there and to ask what services and resources that their specific community does have. You have Neighborhood Watch, you have all these different types of cool little things that you can get involved in and be a part of the community a little bit more and be able to just bring what you have to the table and to advocate for any type of social change that you feel that you need to have in the world. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I hope to talk to you all soon. All right, you guys have a great rest of your night. Bye.